Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Board Game Crowdfunding Rundown. My name is Anthony from the Board Game Nexus, and I will be taking you through all the tabletop board game projects that are closing in the coming week, ending May 8th. I will be looking at every project that has launched this past week that we know of, and any project that will also be launching within the coming week. As usual, we only cover games that we would define as a tabletop or board game. We don't do tabletop RPGs at this point. So without further ado, let us jump in. So we're going to start out by covering all of the games that will be ending. So all these campaigns are ending within the week leading up to May 8th. So first off, Envelope of Cash. This project has 4 days to go. It's a college football recruiting game. We are funded at $25,253 out of a $10,500 goal. So let's see this game. I don't know if any of you have heard of this though, but it is a Euro board game with a very American theme. Interesting. So college football, and by college football they mean American football, not soccer, right? As you can tell. So it looks like a card-driven game with culture cards, personnel and facilities cards, fundraising cards. Looks like the game is about recruiting, college football, and I guess bribing players with lots of cash, if that's a thing. I'm sure it is, but I'm definitely not somebody who's well versed in this. But interesting concept, interesting game. If you're a sports fan and you particularly like college football and the whole drafting of high school players into that, then very interesting. It's unique. 2 to 4 players, 90 minutes. Wow, 90 minutes for 2 players. That is a long game. That is a long game. What is the price point of this thing? $65 for the base game. First edition, a copy of Envelopes of Cash, as early access to online digital versions of the game. It seems interesting. I would probably take a look at this one, just because I don't really know if I'm into the theme of it, but 255 people like it. I think it's unique enough that it might be interesting. But that is Envelopes of Cash, the college football recruiting game. This is on Kickstarter. You've got 4 days to go. I say if you're remotely interested, go check that out. You like Euros, but it's a long Euro. This is an hour-and-a-half play for 2 players. That's a really long game. Next up, Loot Brutes, a card game for horribly greedy people. $3,600 out of $3,000. So it's just funded. 74 backers, 3 days to go. So this is probably, to me, right off the bat, this is looking like a I don't know, I get a Munchkin vibe here, but let's see what it says. In the deck of cards is a bunch of loot. Everyone plays a game by taking turns drawing cards, collecting items of loot. You play items to increase your chances of getting more loot. Once the deck runs out, whoever has the most loot wins. The catch is that no one knows what cards everyone else has. You have to rely on your memory. So it's a memory game, observation game, 3 to 5 players. That immediately boxes Francis and I out. 7+ or whatever. So I guess young kids can play this. 25-minute average game time. Not a bad thing. You know, it's probably a memory. I'm sure there's some take that elements to it. You know, a la, like I said, Munchkin. Looks interesting. I don't know. For us, it's not. You know, we're not big into these sort of party games, these card games. Let's look at the price. $25 for the retail edition, $30 for the golden edition. Just above our $20 impulse buy range, you know, so I think that's reasonable, especially for a card game. 64 cards, 1 rule book, 1 magnetic seal box. I do like the nice magnetic seal boxes these days. I think it's a real nice touch to how classy some of these board games are, these card games, when storing them on your shelf, and especially for traveling. These things are really good. So, look, I don't really know if this really would be something I'd go for, but hey, if you're into these like sort of take that card games for 3+ players, hey, you got 3 days to go check it out. $25. It's funded, so it looks like it'll get printed. It's very basic art, very basic print on this, but that's not always a bad thing. So that is Loot Brutes. Next up, Maglev, Metro, Mechs, Monorails, and more. So this is the expansion for Maglev Metro. Last time we covered this. I don't know if we had played it yet. Maybe we have. I don't remember if it was last week or the week prior. But hey, we have a playthrough on our channel over on the Board Game Nexus channel, so you can go check out the base Maglev Metro game. Francis and I love this game, so it's really good. Definitely met the hype. The fact that like just looking at all of these different expansion packs. So there's 3 different map packs, right? There's the Mechs and Monorails, which is like this this robot pack with mechs. It's all different set of rules, different maps, right? So cool looking, like retro looking map. Monorails is Monorails in a theme park. I think that's even super cool too. Really interesting. There's one on Mars, so you've got Moon Base and Mars. So you got Mars, and you've got the Moon Bases. So 2 different sort of off-world maps and rules. Really cool. And then finally, you've got this London and Paris, which just brings it into different cities in Europe, which is cool too. I would love all 3 of these, to be honest. $80 gets you all 3 expansions plus 104 screen printed passengers. In my opinion, worth it. Worth it. If you own the base game, you should not even think about this. If you don't own the base game for 120, you can do that as well. If you don't like some of these, you have the option of buying each of these sets individually for $90, but you got all 3, you get a $10 discount, $80. This is a no-brainer. Absolutely. If you own Maglev Metro, this is an insta-back for me. 171,000 out of 10,000. 2,000 backers, 70 hours to go. You've got some time. I say go for it. This is a no-brainer for me. All right. Let's see what's next. We've got a game called Potheads. My brain went immediately somewhere else, and it did not go to gardening. Well, maybe a different type of gardening, but not this kind. So we've got a competitive card game about gardening, collecting legendary plants, upgrading your garden, steal from your friends. 1,700 out of $1,000 goal. 51 backers, 4 days to go. So this is just funded. Really low funding point, so they wanted to fund regardless. So what do we got? Sadistic gnomes. I guess you are a sadistic gnome, and your objective is to build the highest scoring garden by collecting, upgrading, and maintaining possessions of the rarest plant cards. So use powerful tools to stop your friends from stealing and burning your. So this is definitely a take that tableau garden builder. The art's decent, not bad. Man, these weird looking people, but hey, that's just the style, right? I guess if you're into these. I think the theme is pretty neat. I think the arts is pretty neat. I'm okay with it. Don't love it, but I'm okay with it. It is definitely what do we got here? 5 to 10 minute playtime, ages 12 plus, 2 to 8 players, 2-piece rigid game box with instruction booklet. Like it looks like your standard tableau building card game. What are we looking at? This is for one copy, $18 US. This is under our impulse buy price of $20. So I think this is definitely worth the gamble. If it calls out to you, if you like this style of play, you like a little bit of take that, a little bit of tableau building, garden theme, a little weird creepy garden theme with insects with weapons, then I say go check it out. That is Potheads. Not something that we would probably look into, but it doesn't mean you won't, right? $1,700, $1,000 goals. We said it's funded, so go check it out. Potheads, a competitive card game about gardening. Next up, this is not a game. This is a gaming table, so we'll definitely cover this because we've covered Origins tables as well. So this is the Prometheus modular gaming table. Used to manufacture advanced materials used to manufacture private jets and super yachts. That's interesting. $9,000 out of a $37,000 goal. Only 18 backers, meaning only 18 of these tables have been sold, and there's only 4 days to go. So there's probably not a good chance this is going to fund. I don't necessarily know why. Let's look at the price point here. So the first 100 get $750 table. $750 deposit. Oh, a deposit. So these tables, they're not showing how much they are just yet. Let's find out if they go into that. I mean, it looks like a modern table for one. I think the modern, so it's only going to appeal to people who have modern tastes in furniture. I don't know why you would ever eat dinner on a table, even if you put these covers over it. Like if you spill a drink and it goes down onto the actual table itself because it seeps through these boards. I think for me that's too big a risk. I would never do this, especially for what these tables cost. Using it outside, no, that's a no. Like in the weather, are you kidding me? Like in the weather, now, I don't even know if this thing has like plush on the bottom of it or what. Like it's, I don't know. To me, it looks very modern. It looks very just basic. To be honest, I like, yeah, it's ultra modern looking, and it's just it may not go with a lot of furniture in people's homes, and I think that's why we're seeing a lack of bite here, and it's unfortunate because it doesn't meet my taste. I don't know. I wouldn't know where I would put this. It wouldn't match with any of the furniture in my house, just because we don't use. I don't know if modern is even a thing anymore in people's homes, but yeah, it's unfortunate. But hey, look, if you're in a mood for a table, go check it out. But I mean, there's a lot of options out there, and if this style appeals to you, then sure. But it doesn't appeal to me, unfortunately. And it doesn't look like it's going to fund. 4 days, it's not even, still it's about a quarter of the way funded. So, all right, let's move on. Master Data. We covered this one, and we're probably going to run into a bunch that we covered. Master Data's at $500,000. So it's from this. So I guess if you're a Cyanide and Happiness fan, this is probably an insta back for you. We covered this again. It's a card game. You're creating these like different types of. I guess they're going on dates and they're looking for different things, different characteristics in their partners, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. I wasn't into it, but definitely people are loving it. It's at the $25 level to just get the base, so that is just above our impulse buy. So that's a go for it if you're into it, and there's quite a few into it. 8,000 people, 500, $500,000 funded on this. So that's Master Data. I don't want to cover it too much more because we've already covered this in the past. But you've got 5 days left on it to go and think about your decision. Next up is Fujiyama with Ajisai, board game made in Japan. Create beautiful hydrangeas and mountains decorated with wooden animal tokens. Looks very pretty, very pretty. 37,000 out of a 700. It's a nice low goal. It's like we're gonna fund and we don't care. Let's see. They want to share the joyful experience with this game. 2 to 5 players. 20-minute play time. 8+ playing age. So this is pretty good. Pretty good short time. Very clean art. Very clean tiles. It looks like you're building mountains. So tile placement. You've got tokens. Looks very pretty. I'm not gonna lie. So your hand is chosen by others. A new kind of drafting tile placement board where most considerate player wins. Right. That is very, very nice. And I'd consider myself a very considerate person. So this might be enjoyable. I'd say this is worth looking at. Let's look at. Oh, it's in yen. Let's see. Receive 1 copy of the board game, and it is $24 US. So. Considering what you're getting here, I think that is a really good deal. And I think you should look further into this if this appeals to you. It's a heartwarming and strategic Japanese style board game. And I think it's very classy looking, very clean. And it's at a great price point. So that's Fujiyama with Ajisai. I say go check this one out. This one would interest me. Next up, we have a lot of games to cover, so I'm going to keep moving along. Holotype, fast-paced, light strategy worker placement board game about paleontology for 2 to 5 players. 28,000 of $24,000 goal. So we are funded 527 backers with just a week to go. So we got some time on this one. 2 to 5 players, 1 to 2 hour play time. So that's pretty heavy. 14+. So it's a dinosaur game. I'm a fan of dinosaur games for sure. So you get player boards, player mats. Looks like you're doing research like Jurassic Park style. Field assistant, grad student, paleontologist. That's interesting too. Fossil dice. So you guess you're digging up fossils. You're rolling dice. Looks pretty interesting actually. I'm interested. Let's look at some of the play here. So you player select their player. Yeah, we get that part. Deal out specimen cards. Collect fossil cubes by visiting field expeditions and rolling fossil dice. So you're going there, you're rolling the dice, and you're getting collecting fossils. Research cubes looks kind of simplistic. kind of simplistic. Yeah, seems pretty simplistic. Worker placement, bumping workers out. We've seen those mechanics before. You know what? It looks like a kind of a simplistic version of some of the heavier dinosaur building. I guess this is interesting because it's more of a you're digging up dinosaurs. At least it's not a dinosaur park where we've seen so many of those. We've played a couple of other dinosaur paleontology type games, but this one looks neat. It's simplistic. Let's look at the price point, see if it's worth checking out. $49. I think that's a reasonable price for what you're getting. Interesting. So if you're into dinosaurs, you're into digging up fossils and games like that, this is definitely worth looking at. Holotype. I don't get the name, but hey, I don't know. I wouldn't think that Holotype is I wouldn't think dinosaur bones if somebody said Holotype to me. But hey, you get 7 days, go check it out. And okay, let's see what's next. Birds of a Feather. So Birds of a Feather is I thought we covered this one. 33,000 of 18.6. The weeks just blend together. It's a sightseeing one. I'm pretty sure we covered this one. 1 to 7 players. It looks very familiar. This is a very pretty game about bird watching. I like this one. Everyone plays and reveals a bird in a habitat. And you revealed raptors chase away lingering birds. This is pretty cool. And then you mark out which ones, like I think it's like bingo style. You mark out what you've seen, and then you score like that. I liked this one. The look of it. I think this is definitely worth looking at. This one piques my interest. So it is a copy of the game for $20. Yeah, so that is right on the impulse buy. 33 out of 18,000, 1,200 backers, 5 days to go. Definitely go check this one. Birds of Feather, Western North America. This one I am interested in looking at. So for me, this would be a definitely go get more information and most likely back this because it's at the right price. Dark Quarter, we definitely covered this one. This is 800,000, so this is the that narrative, app-driven New Orleans type game. And yeah, so and you heard my opinion on it. I'm not sure. I'm reserved about this one. I really need to see more about the play, and how much the app actually is driving the game versus how much you're actually driving the game, right? So I've been burned in the past on these games, and I don't want to get burned again. So I do want to make sure. I mean, it's $63, so it's not like outrageous, but like you probably want the add-on, so you'd want to spend the $100. But for $100, is it a game that I'm gonna play, or is it a game that I'm gonna let play me? And that's where I get a little concerned. But hey, go check it out. Do your research. If you like these types of games, it's pretty. Like they do great production, and you know but for me, they're either hit or miss. And I don't know. I'm cautiously looking at it, cautiously optimistic. We'll see. I don't know. So that said, the Dark Quarter. Here we go. Last light on Gamefound. We've got 6 days left at a $368,000 funding. Of 50,000, so this is like way funded. So Last Light's a 4X experience in space that can be played in an hour. So, and they're like, no, seriously. So to me, that really piques my interest right off the bat, right? 14 plus, 2 to 4 players, 60 minutes. It looks basic, like design-wise, but if you're into if you're into the minis on the board for space, and it looks like it's got all upgraded stuff, which is cool. I think that adds to it. The art's nice. I think this is really good style art. I do like this type of art. It's like your typical 4X. You're going around, you're exploring, you're exterminating, and you're expanding, and you're doing all the other things, and exploiting, right? That's the 4th act. So look, if you like to be someone who goes out and just destroys other species in space and take over the whole universe, then you're definitely interested in this, especially if it plays in an hour, because most of these 4X games are brutally long, because they take time to ramp up. There's just a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of combat, and it's like just they can carry on. But I think this is definitely worth looking at. Because if you can get a game like this out in an hour, then I think and have it be rewarding, I think that's a winning combination. So it's at 368 grand. A lot of people are definitely into it. So I definitely would be interested in looking for more information on this one for sure. So that's Last Light. 6 days left, so go check it out. What's on the menu? Full course menu, building board game for all ages. Sabotage, Steel, and start your way to the top. 11,000 out of 17. So this thing's not funded yet. 120 backers, 6 days to go. What is it? 2 to 6 players, strategy game about, I guess, creating a menu of food. 2 to 6 players, 12 plus, 25 to 60 minutes. Easy to learn, quick setup. Let's see. Game is what's on the menu. You have the best full course after 15 rounds. 15 rounds of play. Each round consists of 2 phases, prep phase and play. I guess it plays really fast, right? So you're pulling cards in the offer, and you're playing cards to your tableau. They've all got special abilities. I get it. Then ultimately, you're trying to build your whole menu, and probably the person with the highest star ratings at the end wins. Like, yeah, that looks pretty basic. It looks pretty. I think this is definitely cool. I would look into this one. As long as it's not too take thatty, I'd have to. That would be my only concern. It's not funded yet, which is unfortunate because this actually looks pretty good. Let's look at the price point. Get our thoughts on this. $40. It's not bad. I mean, it's a card game for the most part. It does come with player boards and player mats, so that does up the price a bit from just a standard card game. 40 is probably as high as I would price this, or at least feel comfortable paying for this. So I don't know. Go check it out. What's on the menu? Interesting. I'm going to go look for more information on this one. Castles by the Sea, we covered this one. So it is 89,000 out of 35. It's way funded, 1,500 backers, almost 1,600 with 5 days to go. This is the one where you're building sandcastles. This one interests me, so I was definitely on board a $45 buy-in on this. I thought it was reasonably priced for sure. Cool looking meeples. Yeah, definitely worth looking at. So I'm not going to go into too much detail because, like I said, we covered this already. So Castles by the Sea, 1 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes. It's already funded. Go check this one out. Very pretty game. Very pretty game. Next up, Great Wall Reprint. Again, we covered this one in detail. We even have a playthrough of the Great Wall, almost like a full tutorial on how to play the Great Wall. Really break down the rules. Very complicated rules game. So if you are looking to get this game, or you have it and you haven't played it yet, definitely go check out our videos because it will help you. It took us a while to get through those rules and understand it while talking to the designer to help clarify things. So this is definitely one you want to make sure you understand before you dive into it, because there's a lot going on here, but it's a very rewarding experience once you do understand. It's a great game. 581,000, well funded, and this is just on a reprint. Game is gorgeous. Not much more I have to say. Just go check this one out for sure. All right, Anastyr. This is another one we talked about. I believe we talked about this one last week. This is a scenario-driven, looks like an RPG with miniatures. Really cool art style, cool looking minis. Definitely interesting. Definitely worth looking at. This was I think it was more expensive. Yeah, it's $130 for just for the lower tier pledge. But man, there's some cool looking minis here. Yeah, definitely interested in this one. We talked about it already, so I'm not going to go again in too much detail. But we're at 582,000 out of a $200,000 goal. So they're crushing it. 6 days left. Definitely go check this one out if you're interested in this type of play. That's Anastyr, and that wraps up all of the games that are ending within the next week. So we are going to move on to cover all of the games that are that have launched this past week, and then we're going to go and see, like, what are the new games and crowdfunding campaigns that are on Gamefound and Kickstarter. Okay, so let us jump ahead here. So bit of a warning here, or not a warning really, but just a little bit of information on how I'm going to go through this, right? So I think there may be a few in here that I covered last week that were coming to launch, and we don't obviously get every single thing that's coming to launch. It's just hard to keep track of all that stuff, but when we do get them, we see at least the ones that do launch, we do add them to our list. So we're going to be covering obviously more than we covered last week as far as what's coming. But what I didn't do intentionally this week was go through and do a lot of research on the games, because I think part of this exercise of us going through this together is really to see if the campaign page itself is informative enough to at least give me an idea of whether or not it would be something that I'd want to consider backing, right? Because I want to glean as much information from these campaign pages as I possibly can, and if they're not giving me a really good explanation of what I'm looking at, then I may not bother digging any deeper, and I could pass it up. So let's go with that lens in mind. That's how I'm looking at these, right? So Uprising, Titans of the First Age, 490,000 out of 40 grand. So this thing's got a whole 9 days. So these are everything that launched this past week, right? So this is a 4X co-op fantasy 1 to 4 player game. And it is back. Get the new expansion or complete content from our first campaign. So they obviously had a successful campaign. They're adding on this expansion, Curse of the Last Emperor. These are like standees. So it's not even miniatures on a hex board, but it's over 150 gorgeous paintings from Magic the Gathering artists, Bartek, Fedzak, more than 600 premium components. So the art is obviously great for a reason, right? So what are we looking at pledge-wise? This is a $200 buy-in if you want just this game, this expansion, I believe. No, the core box is $60. No, this is the core, $99. I think the expansion's $59. But this is it's expensive, $200 for all-in buy, but it's a pretty game. Looks pretty complex, looks pretty fun. I'm guessing it's like I said, it's a 4X, so we know what the 4Xs are, right? We just covered that. But it's in a fantasy wrapper. So interesting. I'm not a big 4X fan. So it would not appeal to me, but it definitely appeals to others. Seems like I don't know, pretty high price point for standees, but they look like, I don't know if these are plastic or if they're cardboard. Can't really tell, but we've got 2 AI-controlled enemies in co-op, so that alone might actually pique my interest, because I think when you've got AI and it's a smart AI, that can be kind of fun, especially in a 4X. I just don't like playing against other people 4X because it can get pretty cutthroat. But I don't know. I'm interested. I'm going to look at this one, Uprising Titans of the First Age. So go check that one out. Next up, Wayfarers of the South, Tigris. So this is a 1 to 4 player strategy game set in medieval Baghdad. Really cool. So this is a Garfield game. They always have their games set in these like very similar art style. They're all pretty good. They're all unique in their own way. And so this is it's interesting. I'll be full disclosure, we don't play a lot of these games, at least not in any of there's a whole family of these games that we haven't really played. I think we've maybe played one in that whole family. I don't know why, because people seem to love them, because there was a whole like Viking series that we just, honestly, I don't think we've played any of them. Maybe one. I think just one, where you like picking up sheep and dropping off sheep on different islands. But there was definitely a Viking one. But they look good. I just don't know why we don't gravitate to these. But they all seem like I think we'd enjoy them. 1 to 4 players, 12 plus, 60 to 90 minutes. 260,000 out of $14,000 goal, 4,000 backers. So this thing is way funded. I think they have a proven track record with their titles, so it's really easy to back these. So it's set during the height of the Abbasid Caliphate, circa 820. Brave explorers, cartographers, astronomers, players set off to Baghdad to map the surrounding land, waterways, and heavens above. That sounds pretty cool to me. Worker placement, dice placement, tableau building, all the things we loved. Yeah. Intuitive easy solo mode, 4 unique AIs to compete against. Honestly, I think we've been ignoring these games too long, for far too long. I think our time has come to give them more attention, to be quite honest, because it does look good. I don't know. I think we'd have a lot of fun with this. So this is definitely going to go on my list. Wayfarers of the South, Tigris, 11 days ago. Go check this out for sure. All right, Moogh, 1 to 4 player. That's a weird name. Like, who named Moogh? Moogh is 1 to 4 player semi-cooperative programming game where tribes of cavemen are joining forces to defeat big beasts that will fight together in order to decide who should lead the combined tribes. By hunting beasts, they will win savage points at the end of the game. If the cavemen win, team with the most savage points may then claim the leadership of the tribe. Or you win or lose together. So semi-co-op. Campaign. I don't know. Looks interesting. Looks kind of different. I don't know if I'd what is the price on this one? Basic, but $24. That's pretty cheap. Take actions, throw dice, be clever. Play the campaign scenarios. Play normal or hard mode. Acquire items. Play in a single scenario, skirmish mode. I don't know. Doesn't appeal to me. This is not something I would probably look personally into, but maybe this is up your alley. But either way, go check it out. Moogh by Nuts Publishing. I don't know. Interesting, but not something I'd probably go for personally. But it's 3,600 out of 10,000. 11 days left. So, yep. Good luck to them. Go check it out. Oranienburger Kanal. So this is the Uwe Rosenberg that we talked about already. 49,000 out of 10,000. I'm surprised it's only funded at 49. But this is a $51 pledge. You know, obviously it looks like a euro. It definitely looks a little dry. But we love Uwe Rosenberg, so we would definitely give this one a try for sure. If you're an Uwe Rosenberg fan, you really don't even need to think about it. This is just, you just buy his games. Like, that's really, it's that simple. So he's funded. Go check this out if you're an Uwe gamer. There's really nothing more to say. All right, so what are we doing here? I mean, we have a lot of games left on our list here. Oof. All right, Waste Knights, second edition. Post-apocalyptic board game adventure and survival set in dystopian Australia for 1 to 4 players. It's like Waterworld. I guess that's supposed to be Kevin Costner. What are we at here? Waste Knights second edition. Like, what is going on? Let's go here. There we go. I was on the wrong page. Boom. 150,000 out of $21,000 gold. 22.49 backers, 17 days to go. So Waste Knights Beyond the... So it's an expansion. That's why I was on that other page. 14 plus 1 to 4, 45 to 180. Massive expansion for the post-apocalyptic board game adventure. Okay, you know what? I like post-apocalyptic games, to be quite honest. Just trying to see, once I get past all of these disclosures from people who've probably only played the game once but have a lot to say about it. Let's see. Look, we're guilty of the same thing. People ask us for quotes, and I'm like, I don't really like giving them because it's, I don't know. I have my own opinions about things. So let's see. Night miniatures, night sheets, vehicles, sea travels boards, ship cards, 45 sea cards, destination cards. Wow, it's a lot of components here. But I'm not really seeing much about what the game is, and it's probably because it's an expansion, so they assume that you know about the main game, right? So it's interesting. Like I said, I like post-apocalyptic games. This is something I would definitely look further into, especially if I owned Waste Knights. I'd be pretty excited about this. So it's way funded. 17 days left, so you got an eternity to figure out whether or not you want to support this. So go check it out. If you own Waste Knights, you just go check it out. Not even a thought about it. But what are we looking at? Dollars? $58 for an expansion. It's about $190 if you want the whole thing. So that's crazy. I don't know how good Waste Knights is, the original one. So I'd have to play that first before I even considered thinking about the expansion. Dino Dodge, Survival of the Fittest, $11,000 out of 8,000 goal. So what are you about? A light family strategy game of pushing your friends into lava while dodging and exploding meteors for 2 to 5. That sounds like a lot of take that. 15 to 30 minutes, 65 million years ago. Dino Dodgers, yeah, we know that. Strategy, family, quick game, long game. So yeah, this would be a fun kids game. Kids would probably get really mad as you push them in lava. Looks like retro video game art. I've learned that when you play kids games with your kids, and there's take that elements that you end up hurting them, hurting their character, pushing them in lava, doing stuff like that, they tend to not be happy about that. So I don't necessarily agree that you should be looking for games with them that are tormenting them, unless you want to do that, because I guess it's kind of fun to do in some cases. But I don't want to anger them into not wanting to play games anymore, to be quite honest. So I don't know. I'd have to consider this one. They might like it. They might not. I don't know. Possibly. So I'm gonna have to do more research, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this retro video game art, to be honest. But my kids are, so maybe they would enjoy this. But I'd look at it solely for that. We're looking at a $32 buy-in, so it's not too bad. So I would look into this more. So 19 days to figure that one out. So that's Dino Dodge. All right, Fliptown. Be the best of the West in Fliptown, a strategic flip and right game. Interesting. 1 to 4 players, 33,000 out of 4,000. So it's funded, 1,200 backers, another almost 20 days to go. It's a flip and right. Looks pretty cool. Don't love games that use regular cards. For what? And it's usually always Western games do this. I don't know why. Flip over 3 cards from the deck. Your suit card dictates which of the 4 regions you'll visit on that turn. Okay. Like, they couldn't just come up with unique symbols for that and just not have, regular decks of card stuff. It would have just gone a long way with me. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. That immediately turns me off. I don't know why. That's just me though, but I don't know. It could be fun though, but I just see opportunity here. Opportunity lost. That's all. That's my opinion, and I could be way off base, but that's just me. Elder in your Spurs, hometown land, will you help settle the town, blazing you? I'm sure thematically it's pretty cool, but the flipping rights are neat, rolling rights are neat. So maybe. What does it cost on this? So you could do a print and play, which I would never do. $10 or more. That's only for brick and mortar stores. Where is the actual? $25. So that'll give you Fliptown and print and play files. So $25 ain't bad. I'd look at it. That I think it's a decent price range. But again, you know how I feel. So that's Fliptown. Go check it out. Damask. All right. What is this? 1 to 4 players, 60 minutes. European traders first encountered the Chinese silk patterns in the city of Damascus and gave them the name Damask. We have worked hard to represent style and beauty in these patterns of Damask in clever yet easy accessible game. So what is this? For the full rules, please check out our rulebook. Yeah. Damask is a goal for each player to make the most money. Money is made by mounting complete Damask patterns, which match with previously mounted patterns. So it's a pattern game. That's pretty cool. I like it. Just looking at how you've got to get the certain color cubes to come into your cards to complete the patterns, using these like looms and stuff. Done deal. I'm looking into it. Interesting. $33.92, super cheap. This is definitely a look into and potentially back for me. 245 backers, $8,000. Wow, it's not funded yet. I am surprised it's not funded yet. It looks pretty fun. 24 days left. I'm sure they'll fund. They've got plenty of time. Good luck to them. It's Damask. This is one I would go for. Spirit Duels, a non-collectible competitive card game of evolving creatures in tactical combat. 10,000 out of 15,000. 23 days ago, so plenty of time. It's a card and dice game. Dice-driven combat. So it's these combat dice and card games. So let's see. What are we doing here? Form a team of spirits. Roll dice against each other. Play powerful move cards. Evolve them like Pokemon. Defeat spirits. Why back on Kickstarter? I'm not into these games, but maybe you are. Art's pretty nice on it, I gotta admit. It looks very Pokemon, so probably gonna back. It's got a bunch of days left. What are we looking at for cost? We are looking at $49 for this. Seems about on point. I don't know. Not for me, but maybe it is for you. Go check it out. Spirit Duels, competitive card and dice game. Rivenstone, a brand new tabletop miniature skirmish games. All right, 226,000 out of 100 grand. It's way funded. 26 days left. It's a miniature skirmish game. So I personally am not a miniature skirmish player, but I do appreciate them showing the minis painted, at least professionally painted, because they look really good. Definitely makes the minis pop. But, it's a tactical miniatures game. It's just dudes on a board, rolling dice, factions fighting each other, wiping each other out, playing probably different scenarios. Looks really pretty. If you're into miniatures games, skirmishing war games like Warhammer, then you're probably all over this. You're probably drooling right now. $60 for gives you a deposit. $99 will get you in. $179 get you all in. $225. Oh wow, no. $875 get you all in. Man, this is expensive. But you probably have to paint these things too. Keep that in mind. But that's Rivenstone, miniature skirmish game. If you're into it, go check it out. It's way funded. Miniatures look sweet. I think it's real good quality. Through ice and snow, lead a treacherous voyage of Arctic exploration. 100,000 out of 10 grand. That's way funded. 1,400 backers. 26 days left. So this thing is just eating it up. It's a game of exploring and discovering and surviving in what looks like the Arctic. You take your own ship and a bid, document species, build vital shelters, and map treacherous landscapes. Each voyage brings unique challenges for your crews to face, like morale. So you're charting the ice, charting wildlife out there. Explore the lands of Nunavut, walk paths past through generations learned above. Really, really slick looking. This is a pretty game. Yeah. I'm a sucker for these sort of like historical exploration type games. Kind of gives me that that older, like that where you like Discoveries and Lewis and Clark, that type of vibe with the art on this. So I'm a big fan of those games. So this is definitely it hits me in the feels with the art here. So I'm definitely interested in this one, hands down. $53 Explorer pledge. Base game expansion for $80. You know, this is a pretty game. This is definitely one I'd be looking to back for sure. This is on my absolute go for it list of doing a little research and then bang, this would be one I'm interested in. So that's Through Ice and Snow. Looks really good. This is a nice one. Grab Your Breakfast, a cute drafting game about grabbing the heartiest breakfast possible. 1,700 out of 2,100, 61 backers. This is like kids art. This looks like a kids game for sure. 8+, 20, 30-minute play, 2 to 4 players. I think my kids would get a kick out of this one. Looks real basic, simple. I would hope it's not more than $20. Pledge without a reward, 20 bucks. What is this? 18 or more is the early bird. Get you a copy of Grab Your Breakfast with stretch goals. $18. This is a no-brainer. If you have kids, probably want this game. Maybe it'll teach them how to eat a better breakfast, because I know my kids don't. You know, they know cereal. That's pretty much it. Okay, yeah, for sure. Grab Your Breakfast. Go check this one out. This is a simple one. If you have kids and you want a light game that's cute and it's about breakfast, $18. This is a no-brainer. It's at that impulse buy point. 25 days left on that one. All right, Cytress, an immersion cyberpunk game. A lot of cyberpunk these days. This is an interesting look. Let's see what this one's about. Below the clouds, society's breaking down. So it's one of those elevated, where the oppressors are in the sky city, and then everybody on the surface is just a punk. So you've got the influencing factions. You're visiting different districts throughout the city, customizing your character, probably getting upgrades, unlocking skills. Control the underbelly of the city. It looks pretty neat. Ascend to the stratos. So as you go up, yeah, that looks pretty cool. You know, I'm a sucker for cyberpunk theme, so this one looks pretty neat. The tiering system seems cool, but this is like, wow, this is like a lot going on the table. Building down here or going on top. I hope it really is integrated well, but this one piques my interest. I'm gonna have to look into this one further. Looks really innovative for sure. Founders experience, $59 US. That's not a bad price. The narrative experience is $100, where you get all sorts of goodies. Yeah, so you're getting the travel pack, the character pack, the mission pack, digital pack. So that, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm gonna have to look at this one because it definitely looks. Shoot, you can go up to $459 for the Divine experience. Looks pretty good. Definitely worth looking at this one for sure. For sure. Let's see. It is Cytress, an immersive cyberpunk game. Finally, Dreamers, a two-player card game full of deception and betrayal. A lot of games launched this week. $19,000 at 11 grand, 600 backers, 15 days to go. What is this? This is a first time. What is this? Card game for two players, unlike their usual single-player game. If you like deceiving, backstabbing, quick games as well as tense games, games for you. Well, I can tell you right now, it is not for me. We are not backstabbing gamers. Let's see here. Both players draw a dreamer. They both will have opened the 3 gates in order to leave the dream world. Player wins the Master Nightmares. Identity card. They have to prevent the second player to leave the world of dreams. It looks pretty. It looks like it could be cool, but we are not take that players at all. So we definitely might miss the boat on this one, just because, like I said, we're not take that, and this seems like it's set up to be take that, but it's very pretty. What is the price point on this? It should be, yeah, $19 for one copy of each. 37, so it's a good price point. So this is at the right price. It's just that we're just not into these Take Daddy games, unfortunately. So, but the streamers, go check it out if you're into these 2-card player Take Daddy games. Real thematic, so seems pretty cool. But just not for us. All right, so back to our final segment now. It's going to be games that we know are launching within the next week, just that we know of. There's probably many more, but we'll cover that in a second. All right, finally. So we've got 4 games to cover that are launching in the next week. So we know we have The Flood. For whatever reason, my links are broken, I guess. But whatever. But it's been throughout this whole video, but that's fine. No worries. You don't need any more to see than this. The Flood is a game about building an ark, like Noah's Ark. And if you check out the Nexus channel, you'll see we have a video playthrough of The Flood. So you get a good feel for what that game's all about. Really interesting. It was a really good time we had with that one. Pretty cool concept, and it's really just a race to build the ark before the flood comes. Really cool, gorgeous components. Lots of like little miniature type components, which were really neat. But this was so this is a good one. So definitely check out this campaign. It's coming soon. Where else are we at? Oh, Euthia, Torment of Resurrection and Fierce Powers. Open world sandbox RPG strategy, 1 to 4 players. So it's a miniatures fantasy game, open world. This is an expansion to Euthia, Torment of Resurrection, I think. So if you own that game, you're probably going to want to be very interested in the expansion. Go check out the main game, but we'll have a lot more information on this one next week when we cover its launch. Creators of the First Dawn. I don't know anything about this game other than it looks like this. So 2 to 6 players, 50 to 150, 14 plus. We'll have more information on it next week, but I guess it's maybe assuming you're gods and you're creating a world. Looks cool. Want more info on that one for sure. And then finally, Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. This one is about hiking the John Muir Trail, I believe in California. It's a hiking game. We covered this on the Nexus channel as well, so you'll see a playthrough we covered on this one. And beautiful game, really fun play. We really enjoyed this one, so excited to see the campaign start here. And so we covered 2 of the 4 games coming soon that we really enjoyed both, so they're really strong. Hope for really strong campaigns on both of them. But that is it. That covers all of our games for this week's episode. As usual, I will put links to all. I'll put timestamps in the comments below. Links to all the campaign pages, so you can go check them out. And leave any feedback or to let me know if you're interested in any of these games, or if you've already backed some. I'd be interested to hear that. So we'll see you next week for the next round of games. So take care.